Hello, friends and neighbors. Come on in. Pull up a rocking chair. Sit with me for a while. I'm Bobby Awtrey, coming to you from my back porch here in beautiful Savannah, Georgia, where the creek moves slow, the breeze carries the stories of yesterday, and there's always room for one more rocking chair right here beside me. You know, when you live long enough, you begin to realize something. Life is made up of stories. Some are funny, some are a little embarrassing, and some teach us lessons we didn't even know we needed. But every now and then, you sit back and you really look at it all. You can see how God quietly walked beside you the whole way. So today, I want to share one of those stories, a memory from the road behind me that might make you smile and maybe even remind you of a story from your own life. So settle in, take a deep breath, and enjoy a few minutes here on the porch, because this is Stories and Tall Tales from my back porch rocking chair. Back in 1954, Christmas was coming, and Buddy and I were constantly looking at the various magazine ads for toys and, of course, the latest in BB guns. This was the time of cowboy and Indian movies, and all the boys wanted were to get us a BB gun and be able to head out shooting anything and everything we could find. Of course, that was our dream, but no way our mom would ever let us get a BB gun. Now, you have to remember, this was way before the famous movie A Christmas Story. That was released later in 1983. But we could really work on Dad in convincing that we were almost men. Now, Buddy was 10, I was 7. And we cut out every picture we could find and would stick them in the car, on the bathroom wall, inside the Marietta Daily Journal newspaper that Daddy would read every morning. There was hardly a place around the house you would not find one of the advertisements for the Daisy. That's right, the Daisy Eagle 850 BB gun air rifle, model 142 Defender. Now, the features of this particular gun, according to the ad, was a single pump, power over 500 feet per second, rifled solid steel barrel, 100 BB magazine, easy pellet loading, optimum velocity for maximum accuracy, adjustable rear sights, and a dovetail receiver so you could mount a scope. And of course, as soon as we would put the picture anywhere, Mom would come behind us and tear them up and throw them away. A lot of strategy was necessary in being sure that Dad saw the pictures. And when we would try to bring up the subject of Christmas and what we wanted, Mom would immediately say, "Charles," that was my dad's name, "Charles, don't you pay any attention to those boys. There's no way they will ever get a BB gun in this house." End of discussion. Well, our big annual family Thanksgiving get-together with all of the aunts and uncles and cousins was coming. That would be the perfect time to bring up the BB guns, when all the men would go out on the porch after Thanksgiving dinner, while the ladies of the family cleaned up the kitchen and did their hen talking, and the men did the man talking. And us boys could drop the hints, footballs and baseball gloves, and all the other kind of things that we might want for Christmas with it coming. When the men started talking about hunting and new boots and jackets and such, we would wait till just the right moment, when somebody, and there always was somebody, going to talk about guns. And that's when we would casually say, "And oh, by the way, Dad, you're going to get us that new Daisy Eagle BB gun for Christmas, aren't you?" And it was hard for Dad not to want to impress the others and say, course, boys, it's about time you started learning about guns and hunting and safety. Yes, 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 it worked. Dad was hooked to our plan, just as long as we could keep him from bringing it back up to Mom anytime soon. Well, as part of the Thanksgiving get-togethers, all the family members got to draw names for Christmas gifts. And the talk around the fireplace that evening was more about trucks and trains, pajamas, and the grown-up stuff they all wanted to hint about. Now, we just had to stay low and drop more hints to Dad without Mom knowing exactly what was happening. We had it made. Now, fast forward a few weeks until Christmas morning. Not really sure what happened behind the scenes between Mom and Dad, but there they were on Christmas morning. Amazing! Santa had actually brought us BB guns. The big, beautiful boxes with shiny air rifles, scopes, and plenty of BBs. What a Christmas that was. I have no idea of anything else we got that Christmas. But let me tell you, this was the best Christmas ever. Now, the reason I'm telling y'all a Christmas story here in March is because the weather in Atlanta in January and February of 1955 was generally cold, wet, and characterized by frequent rain, fog, and occasional wintry mix. Some of the notable events included heavy rain, light snow, and ice pellets in January, and multiple high precipitation stormy days in February. You see, in January 1995, the highlights of the weather consist of a wintry mix. Snow and ice were reported on January the 20th, the 22nd, the 25th, and the 27th. The temperatures, cold, with a low of 13 degrees in February. But January experienced similar or colder conditions, stormy and wet. The month was very wet with significant rain and fog and thunderstorms. There was not a lot of time for messing around in the woods or going out for target practice until the end of February and the 1st of March. Now the story. When the warmer, drier days came, all of us boys, Buddy and his gang, me and my friends, Buddy's friends were all hoodlums. Me and my friends, well, we were like Cub Scouts, adventuresome, safety conscious. You know how those things are. Young boys were able to go out to target practice with bottles and cans, and then on to bigger things, like birds and squirrels. Now, don't get all huffy-puffy about shooting animals. We were only shooting at them, and hitting them would be something different, but well, we were practicing. Doing bottles and cans especially. If we threw them in the lake or we would get them to float down the creek and we would try to hit them. And as the days went by, we started chasing them and would run ahead of them and hide. And then we would ambush them as if they floated on downstream like an Indian hiding between a pile of wood as it floated gently by. Yeah, we were really getting good. But you can only do that for so long until you get bored and have to try something just a little different. Well, that's when we started playing like cowboys, out on the trail and hunting the Indians. And we would shoot at trees and we would knock limbs off. And we were hollering and making a whole lot of wild noises, which generally got the attention of wild things. Which is the case for this story. Buddy and his gang, hey, they had also been trying to find things to shoot and kill, and we came face to face with them, up on the top of a hill, As we came in out of the clearing, bing! Hey, they were shooting at us. We hollered at them, "Stop! Stop!" As me and my boys dropped to the ground. "Are you crazy?" And we heard a bunch of laughing. And Buddy and his gang came up to me and said, "Hey, punk, don't you know if we wanted to hit you, we could have? We just wanted to have a little fun and scare you." And we did. Well, as I mentioned in our last episode, and you'll find out in a whole lot more of these stories in months to come, the competition between me and Buddy, damn it, remember from episode 1, never stopped. I had to outdo him. And of course, he tried to outdo me, which generally happened. No matter what, especially when our friends were around. So I immediately challenged him. "Ha! We are so much better than y'all. The only reason we didn't shoot at you is because when we shoot, we hit what we're shooting at. Y'all missed." Well, Buddy took a look at me. He said, "Yeah, punk, you think so?" I said, "That's true, Buddy, because you couldn't hit the side of a barn if you were 10 feet in front of it." Well, I think you know where this is headed. Big talk back and forth, and trying to come up with a challenge that would prove who was the best. So we decided to set up some cans and bottles again. And all of us from my gang and his gang of hoodlums, we would take from various distances, and each team took turns. And it was actually pretty even. So the competition kept going. And we started running out of stuff to shoot at and had to start picking limbs off of trees from various heights or whatever we could find. It didn't take long until both sides were pretty ticked off and wanted this to finish and finish now. That's when Buddy made us a final challenge. You see, out in Smyrna, Georgia, this was back when there wasn't a whole lot of subdivisions, a lot of houses, there was a lot of woods and places for us to run and do these things. But we were not too far from what was called the Atlanta Highway. They would go from Marietta to Atlanta, and that's where traffic would go. Wasn't like it is today with traffic all the time. It was just now and then, there comes a car by, there comes a car by. Okay. Buddy came up with a challenge. He told us, "All right, punks, we'll see who's the best one once and for all. Follow me." No problem, we said, and we marched off with him in his hoods. Then he dropped down on the ground right at the edge of a rise that overlooked the highway. Okay, now's the moment of truth. Buddy looked at me. He said, "Okay, let's see who can hit a hubcap on a car." What? No way, that's stupid, Buddy. And he reversed the strategy I had used on him. "Oh, what's the matter, punk? Chicken? Huh, scaredy cat. You can't shoot nothing off but your mouth. Come on, boys, we win by default." I swallowed real hard, tears in my eyes. I couldn't let this happen. I knew I was a better shot at than him or any of his friends. "Okay," I shouted at him, "but we only get one shot by one person on either side. And you know the best one is me on my side. What about you?" To which Buddy said, "Well, this won't take but a second." Sorry, folks. Everybody moved back. And Buddy dropped back down and said, Watch this." No, I said. Let's flip for who gets to go first. Ha, Buddy said. Flip it. And my friend Mike pulled out a nickel. And he said, well, who's going to call it? Buddy said, I picked the game. I call the flip. Heads. The coin flipped. It was heads. And Buddy said, see, Squirt, you can't win at anything. Watch this. And he turned back around. He took aim, and a car was coming down the road just around the curve. We all watched. I was holding my breath, and before I could even blink, Buddy took a shot. The brakes on the car squealed. Buddy had hit the car, but he hit the driver's door. All of us boys took off running, everyone going in different directions. I headed right to the house. I went in and hid, and me and my BB gun in the utility room, not in the freezer, but over in a corner, and covered myself in dirty laundry, breathing really hard. Oh, this is going to be so bad. Now, not sure how long it was, but it wasn't long. I heard a car pull up in the driveway. The door opened. Someone walked up to the side door off the carport. Mom came to the door. Hi, Officer Matthews. What can I do for you? My heart was pounding. I was so scared. Miss Awtrey, is Charles at home? Okay, folks. In a small town like Smyrna, Georgia, everybody knew everybody. So a police officer asking for my dad by name was no big deal. No, sir. He's not here, Mom said. Is there something I can help you with? Well, no, ma'am, but we have a situation we need to discuss. Would you step outside with me to my police car for a moment? Well, Mom came out, and before they started walking to the police car, Officer Matthews turned back to her and said, by the way, Mrs. Awtrey, do you know where Bobby is? Oh, visions of prison were running through my head. And before Mom could even answer, I threw the dirty clothes off of me. I grabbed the BB gun, and I went running out the door hollering, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. It was Buddy. It was Buddy. Mom grabbed me and the BB gun and said, did what? Officer Matthew told her to settle down. Miss Awtrey, would you please come with me to the police car? And he started telling her about us boys and our BB guns and shooting the side of the police car. And I spoke up crying, Sir, we didn't know it was a police car. We didn't know it was a police car. We're so sorry. And Buddy did it. Buddy did it. We just thought it was a car. And it was then that I saw Buddy sitting in the back seat of the police car. Mom saw him about the same time I did, and she screamed, Buddy, damn it! Wait till I get my hands on you. And the whole situation got out of hand real fast. Officer Matthews told Mom, settle down, Miss Awtrey, settle down. She took my BB gun, and before you could even blink an eye, she smashed it against a tree, wrapping it at the end of the gun all the way around the trunk of the tree. And she headed toward the back door of the police car. That's nothing compared to what I'm going to do to you and your daddy. Whew. Thankfully, the door was locked and she couldn't open it. Officer Matthews kept saying, now calm down, Miss Awtrey. Calm down, Miss Awtrey. Mom began pounding on the window of the police car. Buddy was curled up on the other side of the back seat saying over and over again, oh, please take me to jail. Please take me to jail. Don't let her get me. Don't let her get me. By then, some of our neighbors had come over to see what all the excitement was about, trying to hold Mom back. Now, that's not an easy task by any means, let me tell you. Anybody knew my mom knew she was feisty. Officer Matthews saw this was not the time to argue with her and said, now, Miss Awtrey, I'm taking Buddy with me. You and Charles come down to the station later when you've calmed down, and we'll get all this stuff straightened out. Well, I didn't want any part of it. So I hollered to Buddy in the backseat of the police car as it backed out of the driveway and started to pull out. "Hey, Buddy, I won. You didn't hit the hubcap." Well, the good book tells us, be not afraid. Well, it was talking about a storm, not my mom. Let me end this story by telling you the 50s were different than we have today. Us kids, well, we didn't have all the social media stuff. We didn't have smartphones. We didn't have all these type of things. We were just kids, and we did get in trouble. Sweeping a police station or picking up trash alongside the road ain't really bad overall, I guess. But you know, the month of March has 31 days in it. And it still gets cold working down a list of chores for doing stupid stuff. And a Christmas gift that we would never forget. And that's about all I have to say about that. Well, my friends, that's today's story from this old rocking chair. It's funny how the years go by and the memories pile up. Some of the things that seemed like trouble back then turn into the very stories that make us laugh and make us look back and say, those were the good old days. And if you sit long enough and you think about it, you begin to see something else too. God was working through all those moments the whole time, shaping who we would become and giving us lessons we would someday pass along to others. I'm thankful for those memories, and I'm thankful you stopped by the porch today to share a few minutes with me. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of what it was like growing up in the 50s, and look forward to you coming back again real soon, because there are plenty more stories waiting to be told. Remember, my friends, if life ever feels a little heavy, just pull up a rocking chair, slow down for a moment, and thank the good Lord for the blessings that brought you this far. Until next time, this is your Savannah friend, Bobby Awtrey, wishing you peace, laughter, and the reminder that life is worth living. Thanks for stopping by my back porch. And remember, there's always room for one more.